Hey everyone, Dan at EDC Bushcraft. Well, what you're looking at right here behind me is my spring, summer, fall backpack, bushcraft pack, if you will, that I carry out here. And I want to give you guys a loadout. So I have a much bigger and much heavier pack that I use in the wintertime. I come out here and set up a winter camp. It's got my big queen size blanket, a lot more food, wool clothing, full-size axe. Actually, if you go back to video I just did titled A Personal Message from EDC Bushcraft, I showed that pack sitting on the tailgate of my truck next to this pack. So you want to check it out. You can see it's about twice the size of this one. So again, this is my bushcraft pack. And I want to clarify that right off the bat, because this little guy that weighs in at about 9 pounds is my survival pack. So there's a big difference here. This pack is what I use to come out here and set up a camp. So I have a winter pack, again, heavier blankets, more wool clothing so that, you know, I can stay warm well below freezing in just my clothing. And when spring comes, I switch over to this pack. It's lighter, it's got a smaller wool blanket, doesn't have all the extra clothing and less food and things. But it's my bushcraft pack, the same purpose. I will hike out here somewhere, find a place, and set up a camp. And then, when I'm ready to go explore, I take my survival pack. So this has the bare minimum. I'll do a loadout for this in the future. I did a loadout, I think last year, called it my scout pack. I've made a few changes. I'll update you guys on that. But another video. So I want to do my loadout for you guys on what's in my spring pack as we change the weather out here. And probably this is really a crazy time of year in the Ochiko Mountains, because like today, it can be in the mid 70s out here in spring, and tomorrow it can snow hard, inches of snow. It can be a blizzard. In fact, I was up here one time in early July when the day started out in the 80s, late afternoon, it was a blizzard. So fire is still my primary source of heat at night. So that's the first thing I want to mention before I break into the pack. I'm still using a canvas tarp with a wool blanket so that I can build a long fire or an upside down fire, and that will be my heat source at night. Even on a day like today where it's nice out here in the 70s, it's going to get down below freezing tonight. So heat is my primary source. I mean, fire is my primary source of heat, of staying warm. However, when fire season comes, that will change. So I want to show you guys when fire season comes, we have several months, say July, August, September, usually into October, 3.5, 4 months, no fires anywhere. But you don't need a fire for warmth, because then, you know, you got nights out here where it just doesn't cool down at all. You can put up a hammock and enjoy the cool breeze all night because it was so hot during the day. So I want to cover the one change I will make to this pack when fire season comes. Because of the warmth and because there's no fire, I switch from the canvas tarp to just a small nylon tarp like this Pathfinder 8x8. Weighs almost nothing. I can strap it right here in place of the other one, or it'll fit in the pack. And because I don't need to worry about protecting my body from embers and things, I do away with the wool blanket, and I will switch over to a snug pack jungle blanket. Now I will still have, like I have today, I have a long sleeve shirt, wool shirt, stocking cap. Those things will be with me, so if the night gets cold, I get a chill, I can put on extra layers of clothing and stuff. But I'll have, you know, just the jungle blanket, this tarp, and then of course when fire season comes, I also, that's when I do tent camping. The only time of year that I will put up a tent is during fire season, because I can't have a fire. And usually that time of year is when the mosquitoes are at their absolute worst. So sometimes I will switch from my tarp over to a tent, or at least a little screened in shelter, just to do away with the mosquitoes. All right, before we go into the pack, let's talk about what is always on my belt and in my pockets. So I laid everything out here. My Grand Force Brook hand hatchet is always on my belt. The knife that I have been using here regularly and have come to like better than any knife I've ever used. The balance is perfect. It's light in the hand and just does everything I want it to. Is the Architect 5.5. It is on my belt. And then I have a pouch behind that with my Silky Pocket Boy Outback Edition. So those three items are on my belt at all times. In my pockets, and one of the reasons I like BDUs is because of the big roomy cargo pockets, and also because they're really easy to move in. I do a lot of rock climbing. I'll still climb trees. There's been times I've gone up the side of a cliff. I need to be able to move and to stretch my legs. Jeans, I couldn't do that comfortably. They would really restrict my movement, whereas the BDUs give me a lot of room. So in my side pocket, I have Ranger Swiss Army knife, Victorinox. This is the Pathfinder edition. Gives me a backup knife, gives me a backup saw, gives me some other tools. That's in my pocket on one side. And in my pocket on the other side, I always have a ferro rod, a container of cotton balls saturated in petroleum jelly. So I have my tools and I have fire. Some extra cordage shoved in my pocket and a bandana. These things are in my pocket. All right, let's jump in. Again, guys, remember as I do this loadout, when fire season comes and the summer gets hot, the tarp and the blanket will come off and be replaced with the Snug Pack Jungle Blanket and most likely the Pathfinder 8x8 tarp. And this is an 8x8 tent smith. So my size is the same. I can do the exact same setups with both tarps. It's just this one I like to use next to a fire or in heavy snow, whereas the other one is my summertime tarp. Okay, without breaking everything out, this is just a folding accordion style sleep pad. I buy whatever brand, usually on Amazon has like the most stars and stuff. So I have like 3 different brands. They're all pretty much the same. I get the ones that are reflective on one side, so they help reflect your body heat back on you. And then I have a full first aid kit here of my own design. It's a breakaway, so I can get it out. And I have just a wide assortment of Band-Aids, gauze, tape, things to treat burns, bee stings, cuts, scrapes. I have one of those sponges, so a really deep cut will absorb blood. An important part of a first aid kit for me, I believe, is an irrigation syringe. There's been times I've had, wood shavings and even glass in my hand, and being able to irrigate and get that out, and then bandage it, put antibiotic ointment on it. It's important. So a nice first aid kit right here. Okay, I'll pause you guys for a second. I'm going to break this part out and move things around. Okay, as I said, rolled up into a nice roll on the bottom of the pack is my Tent Smith 8x8 oilskin tarp. And so on my winter pack, and I just did a review of it, is the new Arcturus virgin wool queen size blanket. I have their smaller wool blanket. I think it's either 80 or 90% wool, just their regular blankets that sell for like around 40 bucks on Amazon. And I have the what they call, I think it's called the Buffalo Plaid, green and black. So that's all the warmth I need because I will have a fire. It's more to protect from embers. And then my canvas tarp for the shelter. Again, sleep pad, first aid kit. On this side, my Nalgene water bottle, 38 ounce, and that's sitting inside of a Pathfinder cup. So I've got the traditional 25 ounce Pathfinder cup inside here. And in the side pouch, I have my little CNOC bag. This is the heavy duty version. You're supposed to be able to put over 400 pounds of weight on it. It's a thicker material, but I will go down to the creek, fill this up with water, hook my life straw on, which is on the other side of the pack, and fill my water bottle, and then refill this with 2 liters of water. So I've got water in camp close. And again, my life straw is right here on the side. So that's what I'm using. It allows me to drink right out of the creek. I've got another one down in my little survival pack. So as I move through the forest, I can rehydrate as I go. And that screws right onto the CNOC bag. Okay, let's open up some pockets for you guys. I'm going to try not to spill everything out here. So we'll get rid of this. Make a little... There we go. Okay. So, back pocket. You guys can see I have a fire starting kit. So I've got another ferro rod in here. We'll go through this. Sorry guys, my pack keeps wanting to fall off this stump here. So I've got a little fire kit, little canvas pouch, so everything's all together. Another bandana, another ferro rod. This one's brand new because I usually use the one in my pocket. Piece of fat wood. It's good luck to have fat wood with you. I've got 2 lighters down in here, Fresnel lens, another container of cotton balls saturated with petroleum jelly, and a little emergency candle. So I can just pull this out, set it down next to me, and get what I need if I'm making fire. Use the little candle for emergency lighting in my shelter if I need it under my tarp. Other than that, in here, leather gloves. I just stuck in a new pair because my old ones were completely shot. Gorilla tape. A small survival fishing kit, which I actually can carve a fishing pole and use some of the little flies and line and hooks in here to fish the small creeks up here. I've got 2 rolls of bank line, another one down in here, and some extra parachute cord. Okay, move this down. Top pocket. I keep all my navigation stuff with a few extras in here. So I have a Princeton Tech headlamp. I'll put the model in the description because right off I don't remember, but it gives me a couple of different brightnesses of red, and then if I pause that and switch over to white, I've got 3 different brightnesses of white. I apologize, I can't remember the specific model number, but I'll put it in the description, and I've had really good luck. I've got a smaller one called the Bite, which I did a review on. It's in the little survival pack. This is the next size up. It's about 450 lumens, I believe. And binoculars, more than anything, it's to watch the wildlife. You know, I'll sit in camp and there might be an eagle. In fact, a tree right over there. Looks like there's a nest in it. There might be a eagle to watch, or hawks, or squirrels, deer, whatever. So I always just got the binoculars for my personal enjoyment. Of course, Sunto compass, when I do need to navigate. I have another one in my little survival pack. There's extra batteries down in here. And the little O light, this is the one that's 180 lumens. So this is my backup light. If something happened to my headlamp and it wasn't working, I have this little light, and it's got a clip on it that I can turn around and the other direction, so I can actually put this on my hat if I had to. This is just an extra piece of cordage that I use to hang my pack from a tree when I'm in camp. Spork. And I keep a multi-tool in here. One of the things that a multi-tool is real good for is cutting wire, and there's places out here, unfortunately there's places where people have dumped wire, but there's also places where there's old fences from, you know, decades ago. You might need to get through the wire, you might need to use it for something, so having the multi-tool or some wire cutters or something is just a benefit out here. I've needed them more than once. This is a headscarf. It's kind of my in-between thing. When it's too warm to put on a stocking hat, but my ears are getting a little chilly, I'll put this over my ears, over my head, protection. Put it on at night when I sleep. All right, let's get down inside the pack. Okay, oh, by the way, I think I didn't mention at the beginning, this is the Spec Ops Brand EDC Pack. I recommend Spec Ops Brand. They are the official backpack of Otchiko Bushcraft. I've been dragging this one out here for years, and just 1000 denier Cordura, super heavy duty stitching. Just can't seem to damage the thing. So I got a zippered pocket back here. I got a little light on it so that if I'm digging around in here at night, the light's right on the zipper and I can flash it in the pack. But in this back pouch, wet wipes, lots of insect repellent. I mean, the mosquitoes are going to get heavy out here real soon. They're out now. I just had one buzz by me. And sunblock, just things that I might need. I always have an SOL heat sheet. There's one in my little pack, one in this pack. They're in my vehicle, they're in my big pack. I've got at least one, if not two, in every single pack. These SOL heat sheets are just awesome out here. I've made shelters with them, wrapped them around me with a small fire or a candle to get warm. And what else? Oh, some emergency drink mix. I actually like this stuff, gives me energy. Like the flavor of it, so I keep some packets of emergency. And as I said, I've got my Pathfinder cup. So I'm just pouring some water, stir it up, drink that down. Okay. Again, because of the weather, nights are still cold. As soon as that sun goes down, that temperature is going to dive. So this hat's coming off. On goes a wool stocking cap, watch cap, and my wool gloves. And I will sleep in these and in that hat and with that little scarf over my head. And I also, again, because of the time of the year, I have a medium weight wool shirt, long sleeve wool, mid-weight from -33. I'll show that at the end of the video, guys, what my shirts that I usually wear out here, because I've actually had more questions about my shirt than anything else. So I want to get that at the end. But this is -33, mid-weight. It's the kind with the, like the turtleneck, but it has a quarter zip that comes down to here. So I can pull that up, cover my neck. The cap covers my head, and I can keep this whole area nice and warm. The rest of the stuff till we get down to the cook kit is just whatever food I have chosen to carry out here for that camping trip. So there's always going to be something in here for dinner. Like tonight, it would be macaroni and cheese with Spam chopped up and put in the macaroni and cheese. I've also got crackers and cheese spread in here and another packet of Spam so that for lunch, if I want, I can make a Spam sandwich on the crackers. That's just something that I like to do. I've always got jerky of some kind shoved down in here. and some kind of trail mix. This is made up with like dried cherries, raisins, almonds, cashews, peanuts. And again, you guys know I am standing behind this company as well. This is the official survival nutrition drink of Ochiko Bushcraft. Rec Pack. It'll be in the description, but just to remind you, 25% off your first order with the code Ochiko25. This is 700 calories, and come morning, most likely, this is going to be breakfast. 700 calories, 90 grams of carbs. My energy is going to be skyrocketing right through to lunch. And then some other miscellaneous snacks. I usually carry a couple of the Pro Meal bars and some little packets of peanut butter. If I take one of these and put the peanut butter on it, it's like 600 calories. So that even makes a lunch. And also sometimes throw packets of tuna, other Cliff Bars, things in here. My tent stakes for my tarp. Bank line, or not my bank line, sorry about that. My ridge line for my tarp with my Prusik loops. They're already on it, so all I got to do is string this up and put my tarp on it, and however I've decided to set it up, and I'm good to go. And my Pathfinder 32-ounce bush pot. I have a good friend at Alpha Omega. I'll put him in the description as well. Alpha Omega Survival Supply, who custom makes pouches for any size cook pot, cup, whatever, water bottle that you've got. So I reached out to him and I said, can you make one for my 1-liter bush pot? And he did, in my favorite color, woodland camo. Can you tell from my videos? Woodland camo pack, woodland camo pants, hats. So 1 quart Pathfinder bush pot, and inside some salt and pepper packets, and my Esbit stove. So if I'm not going to have fire, I'm just going to have a quick lunch, but I want to heat something up, or it's come that time of year where I can't make a fire, my little Esbit pocket stove is in here. There's fuel tabs inside of it, and there's extra fuel tabs and cleaning stuff to clean the pot, all shoved down inside there. And last thing is a large 55-gallon drum liner. This is one of the heavy-duty drum liners, so I can make a mattress, I can use it as a poncho, I can just do a lot of different things with it. So that covers the pack, guys. I'm going to reassemble everything and then come back and talk to you just a minute about clothing, because I've had a lot of you reaching out to me and saying, hey Dan, what hat, what shirt, what pants is that, what boots are you wearing? So I'll talk about that here at the end. Okay guys, if you've watched my videos much, you've seen that I have this shirt on in a lot of my videos. When it's cold out here, this is usually my outside shirt unless it's extremely cold. When it gets down bitter cold, like in the teens or around 0, I put on my big wool anorak, and that thing is so warm with a couple other layers of wool under it that I can just, even in the winter, get on my pad and sit down under a tree and take a little nap and stay warm. But rest of the time I have on this shirt, it's made of fleece, and the brand is Legendary Whitetail, and it's on Amazon. Legendary Whitetail shirts. There's a couple different designs. I can't remember the specific name of this color, but you can see it's a green and black plaid pattern, and it's a nice warm fleece. It's very warm, very comfortable. I have been wearing this one for about 3 years now, and I have one small hole that's been in it for about a year, and I've had a little piece of Gorilla Tape over that hole for a year now, and it hasn't come off and the hole hasn't got bigger. So I really like that shirt. For a base layer on warm weather days like today, I will just have a t-shirt that I pick up off Amazon, because I like to type in Bushcraft t-shirts or survival t-shirts and find something with kind of a cool design, like this one says Woodsman. And then depending on the time of year, the temperature and stuff, I will layer up. So I have a base layer of wool, minus 33. There's cheaper brands, which I intend on trying, by the way. I've dropped about 30 pounds since around Christmas, November, December. And so I can get some smaller clothing and I don't have to buy brands that only have 2X. And so there's some cheaper brands I intend on trying. But this is a mid-weight layer, minus 33. And then I have the mid-weight layer in my pack. And I also have what they call a heavyweight layer. And I want to mention too, because I've had some people say, well, how do you stay warm with just a blanket? Or that's a bad recommendation. You're telling people they can stay warm with just a blanket and a bivy sack. Yeah, because I've got 4 layers of wool clothing on. And like I said, if I put on my base, mid, and heavyweight layer of minus 33, and my wool anorak over the top, and then I'll have some wool long johns under my BDUs, I have done this. I have sat down under a tree, made sure the ground was insulated with pine needles or my reflective pad under me, and relaxed and taken a nap and stayed as warm as can be. One blanket over the top of me and I'm good. And with fire, you know, I'm actually taking a lot of those shirts and things back off. So the way you dress, if you are going to go to sleep with those clothing items on, will dictate what kind of sleeping setup. If I was going to sleep in just a t-shirt in the winter, I would want, you know, a ton of wool blankets basically, if I didn't have a fire, or a big heavy sleeping bag of some sort. But where my body's already covered in 4 layers of wool, next to a fire I don't even need it, but I like to take off the layers of wool then and then use my blanket next to fire, and I'm as comfortable as can be. And without the fire, all those layers of wool plus a wool blanket, I'm good. So that's all of that. I've had people ask about the hat recently. Brand is True Spec on Amazon. It's called like Black Multicam. I thought it was kind of cool. It's different from any color that I had bought before, and I like when I'm out here moving through the shadows of like fir thickets and stuff. I've stocked up on turkey and deer and things just to get a close look. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, I had a coyote walk right up on me and not even see me, which was cool. This kind of just blends in with the shadows of the fir trees. And then, as I said, just True Spec or whatever brand, usually True Spec, but if there's something on sale, maybe I'll get that. BDUs on Amazon, because I've got these big pockets that I've got all that gear shoved down in. And again, you know, reinforced knees, so when I'm down building fires and stuff, the knees don't wear out. But also because of the flexibility of being able to move up through trees, climb rocks, climb cliffs, whatever, without having the clothing restrict me at all. And they just seem to last. I'll wear the same pair out here for usually about 2 years straight, and just keep wearing that one pair over and over and over and over until they finally just start getting holes in them and I have to get a new pair. And then the last thing, let me lower you down. Last thing is Danner boots. I've been wearing Danner my entire life. Right out of high school, my first expensive pair of boots was Danner. And these are pronghorns. I've got a pair of 1,200 gram Thinsulate that I wear out here in the worst winter conditions, and they keep my feet warm in the below 0 temperatures. These that I'm wearing now are the 400 grams of Thinsulate. I will wear them throughout the spring and the fall. It's still cold enough to get cold feet at night, so that 400 grams of Thinsulate keeps my feet warm, or if the weather changes. And then I haven't bought a pair yet, but I plan on picking up a pair of their uninsulated ones to use during the heat of the summer, because I just used these all last summer. It's just what I had, and Let me tell you that my feet got pretty toasty. So there it is, guys, the loadout of my spring, fall, summer bushcraft pack. Again, I told you I will change over to the Pathfinder tarp and the Snug Pack jungle blanket from the wool and the oilskin once fire season hits. Dreaded time of year because I hate not being able to have a campfire. But other than that, the gear stays pretty much the same. And I've covered my tools, what's in my pockets. I showed you my little survival pack. It's changed a little bit. It's actually lighter than it was. I've got rid of a few things, weighing in at about 9.5 pounds with a full bottle of water. So we'll do a loadout on this for you guys. But what I will do, I will hike up here somewhere. You know, there's a creek down here below me. And so I'll probably cross that creek, go up on the opposite hill, and that's where I would make a camp. Unfortunately, an obligation is going to prevent me from staying the night tonight. But man, perfect. I wish I could. But I will hike up that hill over there on the other side of the creek somewhere. And I'll take my bushcraft pack, and that will be camp. Then I'll either walk back down here to where my rig is left, where the road ends, and grab my little pack. Or if I'm going quite a ways, I'll just carry this in my hand with me as I walk. It's no big deal. Have the pack on my back and to carry this. Because once camp is set up, I'm done with my big pack. It stays right there in camp. And when it's time to go exploring, go out chasing, you know, wildlife around to look at, whatever, the little survival pack goes on. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you got any questions, please ask in the comments. I always try to answer you guys if I have an answer. If I don't and I know a way to direct you to the answer, I will. But get out there and enjoy yourself. You know, do up a bushcraft pack, a survival pack, whatever. And if you're able, get out and enjoy yourself. Spring is here, and it's that time of year to be enjoying it. Take care, everyone.